With Republicans taking over the House of Representatives, we expect that the current House Minority Leader, Kevin McCarthy, is going to become the next Speaker of the House. In fact, he got the nomination of his party earlier this month by a wide margin, 188 to 31, getting many more times the votes that his challenger, Andy Biggs, got. But even so, McCarthy is going to have a tough time getting to that 218 vote threshold that you need to become Speaker when that vote takes place on the House floor at the start of next year. And that's because he has a slim majority to work with. Democrats are, of course, going to back Pelosi's successor, Hakeem Jeffries, but he's not going to have the 218 votes that he needs. Republicans are going to have to decide amongst themselves who the next Speaker of the House is. So McCarthy will need nearly all the votes from the Republican caucus to get him to that 218 threshold. He can only spare to have about 4 Republicans vote against him. That's the current projection based on how some of these elections are playing out and how big the majority is going to be for the Republicans. And that's going to be a tall task for McCarthy, getting those 31 Republicans who voted against him in the nomination process to vote for him to Speaker on the House floor. He can only afford to lose a few, and right now he's got to convince at least a few dozen of them. We already have a number of hard no's from Republican reps saying that they are not going to be backing McCarthy. Many of these hard no's come to us from the House Freedom Caucus. They include people like Matt Gaetz, Ralph Norman, Andy Biggs, Matt Rosendale, and Representative Bob Good. Interestingly enough, Marjorie Taylor Greene not on this list. You'd think that she's so fringe that, of course, she would back whoever is running against McCarthy, but maybe because she's being promised her committee assignments back, she is saying McCarthy is the person for the job right now. And even among these hard no's, are they actually hard no's? Like, they're probably just using this for leverage in a negotiation. The idea is that maybe they'll end up giving their votes to McCarthy in exchange for some concessions. Like, one thing that's being floated in particular is to institute a motion to vacate the chair, which would allow members of the House to kick out the current Speaker of the House mid-session. So if they got this in, potentially what would happen would be McCarthy gets elected Speaker, he gets enough votes, and then after a short period of time, the Freedom Caucus gets upset with him and decides to oust him as their leader. He's apparently not in negotiations yet with the Freedom Caucus, but his hand is eventually going to be forced. Like, he's going to have to come to the table and talk to these people if he wants their votes. McCarthy, we know, has wanted the speakership for so long. It's been his ultimate goal in his career, and he nearly got it in 2015 when John Boehner decided to step down as the leader of the House Republicans, step down as Speaker of the House. But then it became clear that McCarthy was not going to get the votes that he needed to become Speaker, so in came Paul Ryan, who was ushered in as someone who could represent like the Tea Party factions and the Freedom Caucus factions while still having appeal to like the broader Republican Party because he was Mitt Romney's VP candidate in 2012, and so he was the one guy everyone could agree on. There's talk about that type of situation happening again to McCarthy, and instead someone like maybe Steve Scalise or Elise Stefanik or Jim Jordan coming in as the person that Republicans can all coalesce around. Now, another thing that may damage McCarthy is that he seems unwilling to impeach Joe Biden because he kind of gets the political ramifications that could happen if they decide to impeach Biden for some absurd reason, especially because Biden hasn't really done anything impeachable over these past couple of years, especially, relatively speaking, in terms of what you would impeach a president for. Some say that he should be impeached for pulling out of Afghanistan. Some on the right are saying that he should be impeached for inflation. Some say for Hunter Biden and the laptop from hell. It's clear the base just wants to impeach Biden because of revenge, and they figure, okay, well, Trump got impeached twice, so we got to impeach Biden in the same way. But that could end up backfiring hugely for them if it's seen as being done for a nonsense reason, and I kind of get the sense that Kevin McCarthy understands that. He wants to avoid impeachment altogether if he's able to, but if people are saying from inside the House that you got to do it, if the constituents in the Republican Party are saying you got to do it, maybe his hand will be forced and he'll have to do that. So Kevin McCarthy in a giant mess. I don't envy his position right now. It's not a shoo-in that he's going to become the next House Speaker, but he's certainly vying for it, and we'll see if it ends up happening. We're going to go to a break right now. We'll be back with much more of the David Pakman Show after these commercial messages.